What's going on? It's Joe here from Financially Savvy, back with another update on my personal finances and my journey towards financial freedom. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I post one of these videos every single month just to show you guys that I'm practicing what I preach when it comes to good money management and investing, and also just to keep myself accountable, right? So what we're looking at right here is the tool that I started building 5 years ago now, believe it or not, when I decided enough was enough and I wanted more for me and my family financially. We were in a cycle of debts. We had no way out, and I'd just been told by my workplace pension provider that I'd be working into my 80s if I wanted to be able to retire. Seriously. So what I did is I decided to take control. And what we're looking at right here is the monthly balance sheet. This is the first tab that I started building in this spreadsheet just to take control of our month-to-month finances, to get an idea of what we were actually spending, to track our spending, right? And also moving forward, start budgeting, start planning our expenses month to month so we'd have better control and could make sure we were putting the money towards the things that we actually valued, that were important to us, rather than it being wasted on crap. So what we're looking at right here, like I mentioned, is the monthly balance sheet. This is where it all starts. We put our plan into these planned columns that you can see in the spreadsheet here for our planned spend for the month, and then we track our actual spend in these actual columns throughout the month to see how we're trending towards that plan that we set for ourselves. Nice and simple, right? Now, the most powerful thing about this tab though is once you have put in your plan for the month and then you put in your income over here, it's then going to tell you, if I delete this, what you have left to save and invest or put towards goals such as debt elimination and things like that. So if I hit undo, you can see that the amount of free cash flow we had was pretty much all put towards our savings and investments for each of the goals that we're working on right now at this specific point in time. And we've left ourselves a small amount of contingency down here, which we do every single month because life is bumpy and your budget needs to allow for some flexibility, because things are never going to go exactly how you plan them, I promise you. And we build that all in, and I coach everyone in my program through how to use this tool in the most efficient way to give you full control over your finances. So you can see that we were able to utilize all of that gap between what we've earned, right, and what we've spent down here. So the amount of money in between those two numbers all gets utilized towards our savings and investment goals. We're paying ourselves first at the beginning of the month to make sure that that money is put to use, rather than it being just sat in our accounts and being spent on stuff because it's there to be spent. Now, the spreadsheet also shows us our income versus our outgoings in this nice visual chart down here, as well as our monthly expenses via different categories. So it's nice to see in this pie chart that the biggest slice of this pie is going towards our savings. So we're essentially buying back as much of our time in the future as possible. And then the tab also automatically calculates our savings rate down here. Right now we're at 45%, which is incredible. We were hoping to be at 40% at the moment, so we are way above that. For the last few months, it's actually been in excess of 50%, but either way, we're extremely proud of where that's at. The higher it is, obviously, the earlier you're going to be able to stop working, because it means the more money is buying back your time in the future. The next tab is the yearly expenses tab. Now, this tab is pretty much exactly the same in terms of this piece of the pie over here, this piece of the spreadsheet. This is just your monthly expenses, and then what it does is it takes those fixed costs, multiplies it by 12, so you get your yearly totals down here. However, on the right hand side, in this blacked out area over here, we are tracking our expenses such as holidays, you can see here, gifts, insurance, debt payments, savings, etc., on a month-by-month basis, so the running total. So for example, if we book a holiday in January that we are taking in August, and we pay a deposit on that, and we also take a couple of weekends, right, in January as well, then we put the total of what we spent in January on holidays, whether we took them in that month or not. But if it came out of our bank account and it was for a holiday, then it goes into the running total for that month. And what that means is over the period of a year, we're going to get a very accurate, pretty much spot on number, exactly what we spent on holidays and gifts and insurance and debt payments and savings for the whole year. And that's really powerful for when it comes to estimating your expenses in retirement, because you need to be able to calculate your FI number. Your FI number is the amount of money you need saved or invested to never have to work a day in your life again if you don't want to. But in order to accurately calculate that, you need accurate information based on what your current expenses are and what therefore they are likely to be when you do stop working. So by tracking it this way, we have a pretty much perfect representation of what we're going to be spending, because if we know that we've spent, for example, 10 grand a year on holidays right now, we can look back over how many holidays we took and we can say, okay, when we stop working, we're either going to want to do, say the same, so it's going to be exactly the same number as that, maybe a bit more for inflation, or maybe we want to do double that amount of travel, right? It means it's going to be a lot more accurate than me saying to you right now, how much do you want to spend when you stop working on travel? And you just plucking a number out of thin air that is probably way less than it needs to be. And therefore you end up planning for a time and that ends up being a lot more restrictive than you ever thought it would be. So this just means it's very, very accurate. That information then gets passed over to our expenses in retirement tab, which is where we estimate, where we calculate our FIRE number, right? So we put all of those expenses into the tables up here, and then it uses that to automatically calculate your FIRE number down here, as well as factoring in any additional retirement income you're expected to have from, side hustles, passion projects, rental income, all of that kind of stuff. And then you can put your estimated investment values by forecasting those out, and I can teach you how to do that in my academy, so that you can work out when you're going to hit that FIRE number and therefore what age you're going to be able to stop working. So for us right now, we know we're going to be able to stop working in our early 40s and we're going to have a surplus income of around 13 grand a year, which is very nice to see. I've got more videos going over that tab in detail, which you can find on my channel. The spreadsheet also tracks our savings, so it splits out the pension or financial freedom savings and investments versus our non-pension or non-financial freedom savings and investments down here. Okay, so this is all for stuff that's non-retirement, such as Christmas and debt savings or savings for our daughter, car maintenance, that kind of stuff. It also tracks our house equity and assets, so we know exactly what our loan to value is at any one point. If we're coming up for a remortgaging or something like that, it's really helpful to see, as well as our debt. So for us right now, that's just our mortgage and then a line of interest-free credit that I have, which is actually a business debt, so it's more for my business to pay off. It's not personal, but it's in my personal name, so it kind of counts, but it doesn't really. It's not consumer debt anyway. And it uses all of that information from those previous tabs to automatically calculate our net worth every single month. So we get pretty much a health status of our current finances every single month, which is really, really powerful. Now, the whole reason we've been able to eliminate our debts, save as much as we have, grow our net worth by as much as we have, save for our daughter, and put ourselves in a position where we'll be work optional in our 40s, is because we're tracking our finances this way. We have complete visibility and oversight of exactly what our finances look like week to week, month to month, and year to year. And we know, therefore, what impact our financial decisions are having on our finances week to week, month to month, and year to year. And we can make, we can pivot during those time periods as well to make sure we are making decisions that will drive our progress in the right direction. So I can't tell you how powerful that is. If you're not doing it already, of course, I highly recommend you go and do it. If you want any help, please reach out. I will leave a link to where you can grab a copy of this tool, as well as a 100-page guide on how to actually use this and also optimize your finances further to achieve goals like we have achieved. Okay, so I will leave a link below. The first 20 people who grab that are going to get 50% off as well, so don't delay if you're watching this on the day of this launch, because they normally go within 24 hours. If you are new to the channel, then please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future updates, as well as other videos that I'll be posting on how to manage and invest your money to become financially free. And if you're watching this at all, whether you're new here or you're a veteran subscriber, please make sure you smash the thumbs up button. That will mean a huge amount to me and help me out in the algorithm. And I will catch you in the next update. Take care, guys.